No.
All right, so this is the Cortez City Council regular meeting. Today's Tuesday, July 11th, 2023, and the time is now 7:32 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask you all to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Donna, can we have the roll call?
Kiefhoffer.
Here.
DeHaven.
Here.
Sproul.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Yazzie.
Here.
Dobry.
Here.
Medina.
Here. All right, I'll ask if there's a motion to approve the agenda or if any amendments need to be made.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move that the agenda be amended to relocate the executive session agenda item, currently 12A, up to occur prior to the public hearing agenda items that commence with agenda item 5A, to accommodate the schedule of an anticipated participant in the possible executive session.
Second.
All right, motion made by Dobry and seconded by Rainey.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Sproul.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, and then just to clarify with the audience that our executive session will be moved to 5A on our agenda. All right, our consent agenda. The listing under consent agenda is a group of items to be acted on with a single motion and vote. This agenda is designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. Either the public or a council member may request that an item may be removed from the consent agenda at that time prior to council's vote. I'll ask if a citizen or a council member wishes to have any specific item removed from the consent agenda for discussion. On our consent agenda is A, approval of the council work session and agenda minutes of June 13th, 2023. B, approval of the expenditure list for July 11th, 2023. C, authorize the mayor to sign the application on behalf of the local licensing authority for the Colorado liquor sales room license for Yellow Car Country Wines LP to be located at 1345 South Broadway, Cortez, noting that the City of Cortez does not have any objection to the application being approved by the State of Colorado Liquor Licensing Authority. D, approval of a renewal liquor store liquor license for Marjana Lloyd, DBA The Cellar, located at 2410 Fairway Drive, Suite B, Cortez. E, approval of a renewal liquor store liquor license for 718 Cortez, Inc., DBA Liquid Assets, located at 718 East Main Street, Cortez. F, approval of a renewal fermented malt beverage and wine liquor license for Good To Go Stores, LLC, DBA Good To Go, located at 717 South Broadway, Cortez. G, approval of a renewal fermented malt beverage and wine liquor license for Good To Go Stores, LLC, DBA Good To Go, located at 302 West Main Street, Cortez. H, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for Me Mexico, Inc., DBA Me Mexico, located at 801 East Main Street, Cortez. And I, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license and outdoor dining agreement for Blondie's Trophy Room, LLC, DBA Blondie's Trophy Room, located at 45 East Main Street, Cortez. Would anyone like to see something come off the consent agenda for discussion? Okay. Do we have a motion then?
I move that council approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by DeHaven and seconded by Yazzie.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Sproul.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, so we're moving on to public participation. And then just in case folks are here to comment on the rezoning 7A on our agenda, that's a first reading and will not have a public hearing section. So if you want to comment on that particular item, you can do it during this public participation section or the one after. But the second reading and the public hearing will be at our next meeting, the second meeting of July. And that's where we take those records, so. Okay. Do we have anyone for public participation? Sure. All right, so you get, there's no time limit to the number of speakers, although public comment will be held to an overall time limit of 30 minutes. Speakers have a time limit of 3 minutes. May only speak once and may not cede time to another commenter. And so Arlena here will flash when you have 1 minute left, 30 seconds, and when your time's up. So just make sure your mic is on and then start with your name and address.
Hello, my name is Eric Hendrickson. I live at 520 West 6th Street in Cortez. And forgive me, it's the first time I've attended a city council meeting. And I'm here mostly just to ask a question about the Southside Park. I'm not even sure if that's the formal name, but I live near the old high school, and I became interested in the park. And then when we had a chance to participate, I became enthusiastic about it. I got to participate a little bit. I met the planners on site. They had a meeting, and mostly I kept a low profile, but I looked at my calendar. I had time, and I just wanted to ask, what's the status? And I also meant to say that I'm retired. I was a project manager for the National Park Service. I like my retirement. But I was involved in these kinds of projects throughout my career. And so as they went through the announcement and the planning process, I recognized all that they did. I met the landscape architects. I thought they were excellent. I thought their planning documents and their process was very good. So I'm enthusiastic, and I just wanted to see what I can find out.
Well, thank you for coming, Eric. We're glad to have you here. And like just a brief answer, but I'd also like to introduce you to Creighton Wright, our new Public Works Director. He'll be able to give you more details. But I think a lot of the public's asking that same question, and a lot of it was put on hold because of the audits and the financial issues we went through, not being able to get grants, and then a changeover in leadership. But that's still an ongoing project, and so Creighton should be able to give you more details on that, and also with the our Parks and Rec Board. So, thank you, Eric. Okay, seeing no other commenters? All right, we'll close the public participation section, and we'll move on to 4 presentations. 4A is a proclamation in recognition of Rebecca Levy for her service to the city of Cortez. All right, proclamation. In recognition of Rebecca Levy for her service to the city of Cortez, whereas Rebecca Levy gave herself and her presence from August 2nd, 2016 to June 6, 2023, and whereas sacrifices were made and long hours spent in her endeavors as a board member. Planning and zoning from August 2nd, 2016 to June 6, 2023. And in that 7-year period, chairperson from June 5th, 2018 to March 3rd, 2020, and vice chairperson from June 2nd, 2020 to December 6th, 2022. Board of Adjustments, March 11th, 2021 to June 6th, 2023, and vice chairperson during that time from October 21st, 2021 to June 6th, 2023. And the Historic Preservation Board, October 2020 to June 2023. And whereas no okay, I'm terrible with words, I'm sorry. Remuneration was ever sought or granted for these efforts. Now, therefore, it is duly noted and declared that the City of Cortez has immense gratitude and appreciation for our local hero, Rebecca Levy, because of the loyal and generous amount of time volunteered by residents such as she. Cortez is a better place to live and work. Witness my hand this 11th day of July 2023, Rachel Medina, Mayor. Okay. All right, we're gonna present you with this, with some awards and take a picture, so. Oh my God. I hope you don't mind.
I would have styled my hair a little bit. Oh my gosh. Oh, stop. No, you're so hot.
Okay, we're going to move on to 4B on our agenda, the 2023 May financial statements, presented by Kelly Koski, our Finance Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your council packets this time, you have the financial statements for May of 2023. Not a lot of excitement going on so far for the year, but I did want to point out a couple of really interesting revenue items. The municipal court revenue is way over their projected income. I know that this is due to all the hard work that Judge Padilla and Carla Odell have put in and the fines that they've imposed, which hadn't previously been followed up on. And so good job to Muni Court. They're doing a great job over there, ladies. And then also our investment revenue is also up significantly. A lot of this has occurred from the exercise where we wrangled the random CDs that were in 5 different banks in 5 different states and got those all rounded back up over into Colorado Trust. They're earning a much higher rate of return than CDs from 2019. The current monthly average rate for Colorado Trust is 4.95. I'm sure that'll go up with the last Fed rate hike. those CDs from 2019 were out there at 2.19. So really have done a great job. We also have some really exciting news in the grants department that I'm going to leave that to our city manager in his report this evening. Does anybody have any questions?
My only question was about the sales tax revenue.
Mm-hmm.
For year-to-date, it's under 30%,
So
and we're
when you-
40% into the year.
When you take a look at the sales tax revenue, when we budgeted in 2023 for the $3.7 million that we were going to use to pay off the water funds, it's included in that line item. And so typically that budget would be around 10 million to 10 million 5. So that you have that number in there that's making it look like it's
Okay.
really off, but it's really not. It was just that infusion of revenue that we had in order to pay off the water funds.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
All right, I think that's,
thank you.
thank you, Kelly. All right, we're going to move on to 5A, our executive.
Before we do that, I wanted to make the motion to go into executive session for that, for what we adjusted at the beginning of the meeting. Yeah. So, Madam Mayor, I'd like to move that council move into executive session for a conference with legal counsel for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions pursuant to CRS Section 24-6, 402-4B, and for discussion of a personnel matter pursuant to CRS Section 24-6, 402-4F1, all of which specifically relate to a personnel matter involving the city manager who has not requested discussion of this matter in open session.
All right, motion made by Dobry and seconded by Yazzie.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right. And we appreciate you all sticking around while we had to move this up to Zoom someone in, so. All right, the time is now 9:01 PM. And the executive session has been concluded. The participants in the executive session were myself, Rachel Medina, Arlena Yazzie, David Rainey, Lydia DeHaven, Matt Kiefhofer, Dennis Spruill, Robert Dobry, Special Counsel Bill Kelly, and then briefly, just at the introduction, City Manager Drew Sanders and County Attorney Patrick Coleman. What? Oh, City Attorney, sorry. And for the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into the executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meeting law, I ask that you state your concerns for the record. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is 5B, ordinance number 1321, series 2023. This is presented by City Manager Drew Sanders.
Yeah, sorry, Mayor, my battery died, so give me just a moment to log back in. Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is regard to Ordinance 1321, Series 2023, wherein we are seeking to update the council rules of procedure generally, which was last updated in 1968. In this, we went ahead and took out some of the outdated language and requirements that are not in keeping with the council's current needs and the needs of the city. There are also several outdated references regarding gender and notification practices that are not in keeping with current methods. It really didn't contemplate the way we can communicate nowadays. But mostly, there was a requirement for a strict adherence to the Robert's Rules of Order, and as well as some other restrictions. So, as we all know, we have not strictly adhered to Robert's Rules of Order, and it's really nearly impossible to do that. In fact, to do that for a body like ours, you would actually need to have a parliamentarian here to do that. So, as it happens, we went to CML, and I was able to attend a class on this very thing. And this was the comments from the instructor there that talked about using Robert's Rules of Order. Number one, he mentions that they're too complex, or, as he put it, too much. They are very difficult to understand or quickly reference. There's some provisions conflict within Colorado law. It's unacceptable procedures for local government and the way we handle things. There's no recognition for quasi-judicial procedures, which we do. And it's simply not used or usable in its current form. So we are suggesting to council that we adopt this ordinance wherein it asks to use Robert's Rules as a guide. And at some point we may adopt some additional formal rules that are more specific to Colorado, but we need to be able to research that. So with that being said, council, I submit that to you for your consideration.
All right, do I need to open this for public comment?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll open the public hearing section of this. If anyone from the audience would like to speak about our updated rules of procedure. All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearings or public comment section of this. Does council have any questions or comments? No, thanks for updating these.
Can we still say yay and nay and have it count?
Or is it yes, no?
Or is it just yes, no?
It's still yay, nay until that final yay, I hope.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that council approve on second reading ordinance 1321, Series 2023, approving a revision to Section 2-3, Council Rules of Procedure generally of the Cortez City Code.
Second.
Motion made by Yazzie and seconded by DeHaven.
Rainey.
Aye.
Spurl. DeHaven.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Okay, we're going to move on to 5C on the agenda, resolution number 15, Series 2023, presented by Nancy Dosdall, our contract city planner.
Good evening. This is not coming up, but this is a request for a conditional use permit located at 210 East First Street. It's presented by, the applicant is Kathy Stone, who's in the attendance here tonight. The request is to replace the existing Jimmy's Transmission business with a, oh God, never mind. Is it coming up? You can see my laptop screen. There we go. And I'm going to try and go through this quickly, given how late it is in the evening. Jimmy's Transmission is in the building now. The property is located in the Central Business District, where auto repair garages, which is the closest use we could find, are considered a conditional use. Obviously, we believe that Jimmy's Transmission was grandfathered in. We could not find any existing permits for that. So for the new use, we were requiring a conditional use permit. They also plan to, show you where it is. This is Jimmy's Transmission. This is Ash and First. They also plan to locate a beauty salon or spa in the building. That is not a conditional use. It's a permitted use. So even though their application speaks to that, we're not really addressing that. That's allowed. Just more detail on the property. So here's what we're looking at. There is an adjacent fenced area and some parking off the alley. Their site plan, although they're not really proposing any changes to the exterior of the building, we did want to know what would be in the storage area, which could be a concern with this use, and I'll get into that in a little bit. They're emphasizing that the parking in front of the building, which has, I think, in the past been used for some more long-term car storage, will be only used for temporary parking of customers. Just, there are apartments kind of across the street here, single-family homes down in this area, some single-family homes here. Even though the property itself is in the Central Business District, those, oddly enough, the apartments are a non-conforming use in the Central Business District. So I've given you the criteria for a conditional use permit. It's essentially, we want to look at minimizing impacts, because conditional uses are usually ones that have a higher level of impact than the permitted uses in a zone. The Planning Commission reviewed this at their last meeting. They have recommended approval of the conditional use permit. Staff is also recommending approval of the use permit. We have a number of conditions, three. Our standard one requiring them to comply with all requirements of the code and utility providers. We stated some operation of business hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. With the concern for noise levels given the adjacent uses of residential. They don't really expect to be creating a lot of noise with this use, and had no concern with the requirement to comply with those decibel levels. And then I also put the condition in there just to emphasize that they operate in conformance with all provisions of their submitted narrative. One of the probably more important ones is that cars not be stored on the property longer than, that we don't get junk cars stored on the property. Are there any questions?
So I have a question I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer, maybe the applicant can answer. curious about the chemicals that are used in the process for doing spray bed liners, and just the fact that those apartments are to the west of that directly. Is there any sort of mitigation for that? Are those toxic chemicals, or just curious?
Yeah, I'd probably like to let the applicant speak to that, but their narrative did state that there would be no impact outside the building.
Did Cortez Sanitation then say anything about concern with what Matt's asking?
No.
Okay.
I guess I was just, so is there a mitigation effort? Like, is there something that's going to pull the chemicals up to
Do you
make
want to
sure?
call that applicant up?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd like to know. Thanks.
And just make sure to introduce yourself.
I'm Kathy Stone. It's my son's business that will be going in there. He's already located at 2201 South Broadway. I'm not sure what is in the chemicals for the spray liners that he does, but there's never been a problem with it. There is a vent that we're installing in the building, but he's done it for years, and the sanitation district has never said a word or had a problem with anything. It all comes in buckets, and it goes, they use it all, and then just throw the buckets away.
Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us on this item?
Not really. I know there's a concern about old cars being around or staying there very long. That won't happen. He generally works on new vehicles and is doing aftermarket parts to them and stuff, and they go right back to the people that own them. If he was to keep anything overnight, he would always pull it inside the building, just because he wouldn't want anything damage done to anybody's vehicles and stuff. And as far as the fenced area, he might have to keep a vehicle back there if he's waiting on parts or something, but he would always either have it fenced or inside the building.
Is there any concern with like sharing, because that's a building split into two property owners essentially? There's no concern there.
They're buying the whole.
Yeah, we've already purchased the whole building.
Oh, okay.
And the other part of the building, eventually, we're not gonna do this right now, but probably eventually my daughter-in-law might move in there with a salon. She's already got another place that she works at, and she's not gonna do it right away, but for the future.
Okay, and that's a permitted use, so.
Yes.
Yeah, my concern with the cars is it created a hazard at the intersection. That's why it's a four-way stop now, and which I think it was a good decision to make there. It's a lot safer, but I'm glad to hear that it won't be full of junky cars anymore.
It won't be.
Okay.
He's very, very picky, and he just won't keep things around, so.
Okay. We'll open it public. Okay, we'll open this then for the public comment section. If anyone from the public would like to speak on this particular item on the agenda, we'll swear you in. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public comment section. Does council have any more questions or discussion? Okay, go ahead, Dennis.
I move that council approve the conditional use permit for Rocky Mountain Spray Liners on property located at 210 East 1st Street in the Central Business District, CBD zone, as submitted by Kathy Stone through City of Cortez Resolution Number 15, Series 2023, with the following conditions. Number one, all requirements of utility providers, city departments, CDOT, and affected districts must be satisfied as outlined in adopted city codes and other regulatory documents. Specifically, all public improvements shall comply with the minimum requirements of 2009 City of Cortez construction design standards and specifications. Number two, operation of the business shall not exceed CRS 2512-103 maximum permissible noise levels, specifically from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Noise levels shall not exceed 55 decibels. at the property line from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Noise level shall not exceed 50 decibels at the property line. The owner shall operate the business in conformance with all provisions of the submitted narrative.
Second.
Motion made by Spruill and seconded by Dobry.
Kiefhoffer,
No.
Rainey,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Yes.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Spurl,
Yes.
and Medina.
Aye. All right. We're going to move on the agenda. 6 is unfinished business. We have none. So 7 is new business. 7A is ordinance 1317, series 2023. On the rezoning presented by Nancy Dosdall.
And in this case, I just want to make it clear that tonight, thank you. That the request, it's only, because it's a rezoning, we have 2 hearings on a project. The first is the first reading, where the council tonight will just set the next meeting for a public hearing, where we would actually talk about the merits of the rezoning. I just wanted to make it extra clear because there were 2 rezonings submitted together. This one has actually been recommended for approval from the Planning Commission, has not been nearly as controversial as its paired rezoning. So the request here is for this property up here, located off of Highway 491. I don't think I want to go into any details on the property unless you want me to, but it would be heard at your next council meeting in a full public hearing format.
Okay, and I just want to reiterate what you're saying about process is every application that goes to planning department needs to be seen through and come to us for a decision. That doesn't mean that they endorse it or are against it. And then this first hearing, is it just this being presented to us, and then it gives the public 2 weeks notice to essentially go to the second hearing where our public hearing part is. So anyone who has an opinion on this and wants to either come to that meeting for public comment or submit written comments can email those to Linda Smith, lsmith@cortezco.gov. Okay. Any questions for Nancy or discussion amongst us? Okay. Do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that council approve on first reading ordinance number 1317, series 2023, an ordinance approving an application for a rezoning from C Commercial Highway to I Industrial of a parcel of land located at 10206 Highway 491, Cortez, Colorado, and set ordinance number 1317, series 2023 for second reading and public hearing for July 25th, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Yazzie and seconded by Dobry.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Spurl,
Yes.
Rainey,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Okay, we're going to move on to 7B on the agenda, resolution number 14, series 2023, presented by Kelly Koski, our finance director.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. So Resolution 14, Series 2023 is really just a little bit of housekeeping that we have left to do. It's in regards to the refuse truck lease financing that we did through Kansas State Bank. So when you look at Exhibit D, that's actually from the financing package from Kansas State. And I believe that because the financing package was over $1 million, they did require that there be a resolution of the council in order to proceed with funding that ask so that they can pay the vendors. So really just tying up the loose ends for that final piece for the refuse truck leases.
And this is 4 trucks for 5 years?
It was.
Okay.
And just to clarify, this was approved by City Council in November of '22.
It was. It was also approved through the 2023 budget process. And then I believe Colby and Brian brought that before council in November with the final numbers. I know for a bit those were kind of in flux, but we were able to get that done in November to nail down not only the final numbers, but to get that moving, so.
Okay. And this is being paid out of the enterprise fund for the refuse enterprise fund?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I move that council approve resolution number 14, series 2023, to be included in the financing packet for Kansas State Bank, approving Exhibit D, government obligation contract dated as of June 5th, 2023, between KS State Bank obligee and City of Cortez, Colorado obligor.
Second.
Motion made by Dobry and seconded by Yazzie.
Spurl,
Yes.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, 8 on our agenda, draft resolutions and ordinances. We have none. So number 9 on our agenda is city attorney report.
No report, Madam Mayor.
Okay. So then we'll move on to 10 on the agenda, a city manager report.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. I have a report for you this evening. First of all, and I won't hit this too hard, we'll send out more information later, but as our Finance Director Kelly Koski had mentioned, the City of Cortez has been selected to receive a very competitive grant as the 2023 RAISE grant, R-A-I-S-E grant, and I can't remember that acronym right off the top of my head, but really what it is it's in the amount of $825,300. This project will fund the comprehensive plan spreading across 3 phases to evaluate and reform the city's interstate corridors, including the corridor assessment, public engagement strategy, engineering and technical design, and a feasibility study, including benefit cost analysis. This is a big deal for us, and I'd like to thank Scott Baker and the Finance Department for their hard work that went into this. There were other contributors as well, economic development and so on that helped with this. This is a big deal for us, so thanks you all for your good job. Then I wanted to touch on the July 4th festivities. They were very abundant in Cortez this year, and they culminated in a really nice fireworks show. We've received a lot of positive feedback on that. The city hosted 2 bands in the Centennial Park, the Four Corners Community Band from 4:30 to 6 p.m., and then the Flashback from 7 to 9 p.m., along with several food trucks. When I mean several, I mean like 3, but there were other pop-ups. It was estimated that Cortez hosted even more revelers this year than in the past, and already met with Creighton Wright, and we've got bigger plans for next year. We're hoping to start ramping this up bigger and bigger. There's definitely an appetite for it. Then I also wanted to bring council's attention to Mike Monarco, who is the lone employee with the Cortez Community Network. His last day was last Friday. After 31 years of service, he accepted a position with Vero Clear Networks, as we kind of hoped and expected. This is a big deal for both them and us, and we're real tickled that he actually got a little pay raise out of that. But just wanted to touch on him. Mike started in the Parks Department and transferred to the building maintenance staff. When the city started the fiber project, Cortez Community Network, Mike stepped in to learn everything about fiber, from fiber drops and construction, maintaining electronics, troubleshooting connectivity, customer service, and everything in between to help manage the project in the field for the city. Mike, as I mentioned, took the position with Vero Clear Networks and is going to help them complete the full fiber build-out for Cortez. His knowledge and abilities will be a great asset to them, and of course will be to us. And on that note, I don't know if any of you have had a chance to drive by today, but they are literally working on the build-out on Montezuma out in front of us. That big orange rolls you see is conduit, right, Rick? Yeah.
Can I ask, do we have like percent, like when are we getting like kind of reports back about like where they're at in the process?
They just barely started out. They're doing about 500 feet a day, but they're starting on the backbone of Montezuma. We had an easement issue down at the other end of town that we kind of worked through now, but they're just now starting to get ramped up. This is basically the first month, so we're less than 30 days in. But as we get like something a little bit more, we'll be definitely giving you more, because we're real proud and want to make sure this gets out to the community. So thank you for that question. Did I miss anything, Rick? Okay. And then I also wanted to mention about our trip to the Front Range to attend the Colorado Municipal League Conference. We considered it a great success. There were some very relevant topics, and I touched on one of those already tonight, presented and discussed that will help us with our mission here in Cortez. Of note was the invitation by CML to our Mayor Medina to sit on what was termed as the Meeting of the Minds panel that discussed various municipal topics. So this was a huge ballroom that they had in there, and there had to have been 300 people or more in there. So while we enjoyed our lunch, they engaged in this panel. Others on the panel included mayors from municipalities such as Golden, Colorado Springs, and Aurora. By the way, the Aurora mayor is a former member of U.S. Congress, and also Senator Hickenlooper was on there. Mayor Medina made some significant contributions to the panel discussion and was very well received by the audience. At the conclusion of the panel, my title changed from the Cortez City Manager to, "Oh, you're that guy with the Cortez Mayor." So, and that happened repeatedly, and so she made a really big impact, and we're very proud of her. Thank you, Mayor. And with that being said, I have one more item. This is a last-minute addition from the pool. We had the pool heater that went out in the recreation center. We just wanted the public to be aware of this. It had a catastrophic failure, and we're working right now to get that replaced right away. Unfortunately, the current closures estimate is 4 to 6 weeks. Director Creighton Wright mentions that lap swimmers have asked if they can swim at the Cortez Outdoor Municipal Pool. They can by paying the daily fee of the purchase and purchase a pass. The lap swim session at the outdoor pool is Monday through Friday, 11:45 to 12:45 p.m. We apologize for the inconvenience, but we're on it and trying to fix it. So with that, Mayor and Council, that concludes my remarks.
Okay, thank you, Drew. We'll move on to City Council committee reports. We'll start with the mayor's report on the workshop. All right, well, it's officially been a year with our city attorney, Pat Coleman, and so we had an executive session tonight to do his annual review. That took up our entire work session, and we didn't have any council discussion. As far as board reports, it was a great experience going to CML, and I was pretty honored to represent the Western Slope and rural Colorado on that panel, and hopefully I did us service, and hopefully we'll get more visitors out of it, because we want them to come spend money here. And then with the fireworks, I've had a lot of great feedback from the community. They thought it was the fireworks were awesome. They had a great time, and I'm just thank you for all our departments that put that together and helped with that. So I just wanted to recognize you for that. I think that's all I had. So we'll start with Matt on board reports. Sorry, nothing. No board reports. Okay. Dennis?
I had a golf board meeting on June 21st, and the revenue is ahead of last year by 7%, which is good news. The committee is going to review tournament play, because it seems like the individuals that want to come and play are not able to, because there's so many tournaments. And they're discussing kids camps for golf, And our golf course is comparable to any municipal golf course in the area.
Cool. Thank you, Dennis. No, okay. David?
The Cortez Public Arts Advisory Committee met Monday, July the 10th, and there was a lot of discussion about supporting a creative alliance which would encourage artists in all the arts and raising awareness in Cortez.
Great. Oh, and then one thing I want to note is with our recognition of Becky Levy today, that we do have an opening on our Planning and Zoning Board. So submit your letter of interest to Linda Smith, lsmith@cortezco.gov. Okay. Moving on, we moved our executive session to an earlier thing, so public participation. Do we have anyone from the audience who would like to get up and speak? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Yazzie, seconded by DeHaven.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kefauver,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Spruill,
Yes.
Rainey,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, thank you all for being here so late.